أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على من كان نبيا وآدم بين الماء والطين صلوات الله وسلامه على سيدنا محمد أفضل البشر وسيد الرسل خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى تابعيهم ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إنكم على بينة من ربكم، أو كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, let us understand one thing very clear. Actions will always bring forth results, just as inaction will haunt one for eternity with regret and remorse. Blame it on the spike of vice or the fall of goodness. Fact is that humanity today finds itself on the crossroads. Historically, humanity has been there several times, even though we as the current generation may have not. And the same culprit that brought the entire humanity to the crossroads before is the same culprit that does it once again. And that, my friends, is desperation. We all know what desperation is. In many communities, for example, is today Ramadan or is tomorrow Ramadan? And people are desperately waiting in the masjid. Make a decision, let us start. Desperation. I'll give you just one example, which is general that we all can relate to. Not only is humanity paused on the crossroads because of desperation, but the signs forward are obscured. And the path itself is draped in layers of curtains that a person doesn't even know which way to go. The move of a smart person is that they pause and they continue to stay in a position of paused and look back into history and see what decisions were made at this junction and where it took humanity. For there are numerous examples that can guide us forth if we agree to look back. Now, I don't have time, nor do you have time for me to go and rehash all those examples in history. But I feel there's one thing that we can do at this moment. Focus on the trend that brought humanity to the crossroads of desperation, and what was the response to it. So now you could push aside hours of history and just look at two simple factors: the trend and the response to it. Now, I did my homework for you. So let me tell you, when we look back into those examples, the trend that brought humanity to the crossroads is somewhat of a consistent trend. Yet the response to it differs. Remember one thing from the get-go. Humanity has always been and always will continue to be different. This is a fact. What differentiates us from others and others from us? There are many factors. Culture, age, generation, religion. There's so many factors. Social status. But how we perceive or receive these differences at a time when we are on the crossroads can be the difference between unity and discord. I would like to focus today on the differences of faith. I don't have time to cover the differences of race and everything else, but let's talk about the differences of faith and how when discord was presented to humanity. When I'm saying humanity here, I'm talking global. When discord was presented, how the people of faith reacted and how unity prevailed in a mature and sane fashion. Keeping all three major faiths in reference to holy text, I want us to contemplate on just two examples and how a solution was obtained once the trend played out its mischief, and how it was the means for us to move forward in a united fashion. Once again, let's recap. Humanity today is on the crossroads. What brought us to that position is desperation. What is our current state in that position? Desperation. We just want to move. Kabhi to aisi baat hoti na, jaan bhi jao, chalo niklo to say. Sometimes we say, wherever we go, just keep on moving. But how do we know the position that we are in and the track that we are going to take out of desperation is the right one? So as I said, the trend that brings humanity to its knees has always been consistent. What is that trend? Number one, demonize a people. Demonize a people. What are these type of people? What is this that they're wearing? What is this that they are doing? Why do they eat different? Why do they sit differently? Demonize them. It's a systematic effort. Doesn't just happen overnight. Number two, discredit what they're doing and disassociate yourself with them, from them. These Muslims ain't too good people, just stay away from them. We'll tell that to our children. We will tell that, not us. It would be told to people's children by the parents. Don't hang around with Abdullah in school. These are not good people. Demonize, discredit to the extent that you will disassociate yourself with them. And lastly, the trend will go towards destruction. History has shown this. When the trend picks up of demonizing a people, and discrediting a people, if that trend is not stopped, then it will lead to all-out destruction. Remember this. If one were to fall into that trap, in desperation, amid the confusion that I laid out for you of the crossroads, just realize where we will end up. How people respond differs. As I said, we are keeping the differences of faith in context today. And we will find that whenever this calling reached the ears and the attention of people of faith, they continue to display a level of maturity in the face of discord, in the face of mischief, in the face of confusion, that led to continuous stability in peace and saved us from destruction. Islam, my dear brothers and sisters, our history of Islam has two prime examples that none of us should ignore. I don't need to go talk about anyone else's faith. Our faith, in its infancy, has two prime examples that shows how humanity continued to move forth in a unified fashion. Let us go back into the annals of our history. I take you back to the 5th year of Islam. Not the 5th year of migration, the 5th year of Islam. Repression was ripe to the extent that it was physical beyond mental. Many of us feel discomfort and we feel at unease when someone looks at us differently, or two people are whispering, pointing towards us, laughing. This is called mental abuse. It could lead to mental torture. But this was physical and mental, to the extent that the newborn Muslim ummah, a newborn Muslim religion, a newborn Muslim movement in Arabia and Hijaz were told up front, you cannot worship openly. You cannot worship loudly. Ibn Masud radiallahu ta'ala comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam complaining about the circumstances. And he agreed with them, it's time for some just to leave. Where do you go? You have no connections. There was no internet. But no, the people of Hijaz knew of the one Christian emperor, Negus of Abyssinia, known as today as Ethiopia, who was well known for his justice. Today, people ask you, and they judge you by your faith. That goes to show a red flag that we are going backwards, we're not going forward. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't say, well, we can maybe go to Negus of Abyssinia, but no, he's Christian. Astaghfirullah. Don't go to Christian. We didn't look at it that way. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't look at it that way. He looked at it as a fact that this man is ruling his people with justice. And he himself was well aware of what was happening in Hijaz, what Quraysh was doing with its own people. So those who had the means to leave, 12 men and 4 women, they left to Abyssinia. When they reached Abyssinia, without invitation, without email, without prior notice, not only were they received, but they were accepted within society. It is said 3 months onwards, the news reached them from Mecca. Surah Najm was revealed. وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى. In it are verses أَفَرَأَيْتُمُ اللَّاتَ وَالْعُزَّى وَمَنَاةَ الثَّالِثَةَ الْأُخْرَى. It talked about the idols and the gods of Quraysh. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made sajda to the Kaaba, and so did the Quraysh. the mushrikeen. So it was perceived that everything's hunky-dory now. Everyone's okay with the religion. But the mushrikeen were making sajda because they heard the name of their idols, but not in the context in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about these idols. So they came back. When they came back, they found out that it isn't a thing. It's wrong. The evilness, the bitterness, the animosity, the hate is ripe. So this time 83 of them in total went back towards Abyssinia. Now they caught the attention of Quraysh. Quraysh wanted to continue with their mischief. Remember, when humanity gathers on the crossroads, no one wants to be stagnant. And there's always going to be someone who whispers in your ear, why are we sitting here for? Why don't we go that way? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Ultimately, what that results in is a greater problem. So Quraysh, their mischief pinched them. And they sent Abdullah ibn Rabah and Abdullah ibn As, laden with gifts, laden with leathers, because the king, Negus, he loved leather. And they sent him to where? Abyssinia. Now when they got into Abyssinia, they met with the religious authorities. They met with the civil authorities. They met with the ministers of governance. And they gave everyone gifts. Hello, here's a gift for you. Here's a gift for you. So they're winning the hearts of the people. What have you come for? Oh, we just came. We want to meet the king. Oh, come, we'll take you to the king. When they met with the king, they gave him the gifts of leather. The king asked, why have you come here for? They said, there's some ignorant young ones from our tribes that have given up the religion of their forefathers. And they've created this whole entire new religion which is opposing to ours and your religion. It's not conducive with the Christianity, and it's not conducive with our religion. What would you like? We want you to turn them over to us so we could go and straighten them out. He said no. But they insisted, and they insisted, and they insisted. So the king then called for them, come, I want to hear both sides of the story. So long humanity is interested or welcomes the fact that they will listen to you, do not stay silent. Because if we don't speak out now, then tomorrow a time will come, we will speak to the top of our voices and no one will listen to us. So he said, come, bring them here. What is this new faith that you profess to? They said, oh, our king, oh, noble one, we were plagued by moral defects and decay. We were living in a world of darkness. A man by the name of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and brought light to us. He showed us a way which was humane, which was civil, which gave purpose to life. That is why we've come to you, because we want to maintain and build on it. So please keep us here with you. But if you decide to return us, you will only return us back to the inhumane treatment and more. Tell me something that your religion said. One of them, Sahaba, said, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ayn, Sad, Dhikru Rahmati Rabbika Abdahu Zakariya, Surah Maryam. He said, you could go, you're safe. Quraysh went to their camp for the night. And the two said, we can't go back to Mecca empty-handed. Because if we go back empty-handed, we're going to be in big trouble. So what else can we do to instigate this and to win? One said, oh, I know. They say bad things about Jesus, alayhi salam. That's it. Now we got something. The next morning they went back and they said to the king, do you know they say bad things about Jesus and Mary? Sometimes people will push your personal buttons. But Islam taught us not to navigate our affairs with our emotions. Because sanity is not where our emotions lie. Our sanity is in following what the creator of this universe has told us. So he called them and he asked Ja'far radiallahu anh, what do you say about Jesus? He said, Rasulullah wa kalimatuh, alqaha ila Maryam wa ruhum min. He is a servant of Allah, the messenger of Allah. He is a spirit that was breathed into Mary. The king said, there's no difference. The king said, there's no difference. The people in this court were astonished. He said, there's no difference. He said, he gave them back the gift. He said, go. You will stay here with full protection as long as you want. So mischief sparked a row on the crossroads. But people of faith did three things. When demonization happened, discrediting, he prevented destruction by doing three things. He intervened. He intercepted the believers. And he let them integrate into the society. Let us quickly move to a second example. Moving along now to 11th year of Islam. When the Jews of Yathrib came to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first time they met in Aqaba, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam met with them. They asked, we heard about you. He told them a bit about himself and about his mission. They went back to Yathrib and they spoke with the people, and this picked up momentum. So on the 12th year of Hijrah, 12 people came, especially to meet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they met in the same place of Aqaba. And they said that we've heard this amazing stuff that you're talking about. We want to follow it. We want to believe it. He said, if you want to believe it, you have to take a pledge. What's the pledge? Look at this. This is your Islam. This is my Islam. This is the source of our pride on this earth. He said, you will make a pledge that you will believe. You will not steal. You will not commit adultery. You will not kill children. Why not kill children? Because at that time, war was ripe. You kill anything and anyone. Let's stop killing children. Then let's stop killing the women. Let's stop killing the elderly. When you want to make a change, change doesn't happen overnight. It has to happen slowly, firmly, consistently. You will not accuse one another. You will not disobey me. They agreed and they went back. Before going back, they said, why don't you come and live with us? He said, no, I'll think about it, go. Now in the 12th year of Hijri, they come back once more again. And then more of them came. They took another pledge and they begged Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you come to us. And hence we know what happened then. All the believers, save Abu Bakr and Ali radiallahu anhuma, left. And they went to the safety of the Jews of Yathrib. Once again, when there was discord, when there was discreditation, and when that could have led to destruction again, they intervened, they reached in, they intercepted, they helped the course, they helped change the course, and lastly, they integrated them into society. I pause on this and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He opens our eyes to see what we have and what is Islam. Islam is not merely a path or a faith or a religion. Urdu mein isko kehte hain madhab. In Urdu we call it a madhab. A madhab is a path on which you trek and people follow you. May Allah give us the ability to contemplate on this, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to value what we have. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه من كل ذنب إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I just gave you two examples which is from our history, from the infancy of Islam, that showed that when desperation brought humanity together on the crossroads. What is on the crossroads? Kill them and live on. Destroy them and have peace. Remove them from your world and have a good society. These two examples highlighted that people of faith played a role of maturity, which allowed the entire humanity to live in a harmonious fashion. Today, humanity is dropping the curtains one after the other in theirs, so that no one could see behind it. Just like you can't see behind these walls. Think about layers of curtains, how much they have deprived our eyes from seeing one another. Humanity and civility never supersedes my way or your way. Meaning, let me rephrase that. My way or your way never supersedes civility and humanity. When humanity say it's going to be my way or your way, we will lose a civil world. We will lose a world that's full of humane people, and we will destroy one another. For when injustice and tyranny edge forth, history shows everyone lost. So what is in this message for us as Muslims? It is equally a crime in the eye of Allah. In the eyes of Allah, it's equally a crime that we sit back and do nothing. You have to stand up, and you have to unite, and you have to present to the world what is civil, what is moral, and what is just. Today we are sitting here and we are ignoring the cries of hunger and the pains of oppression. If we continue to do so, we will be inhumane, not the others. There's a hadith, Qudsi, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to his servant on Day of Judgment, O son of Adam, I was hungry and you never fed me. He will respond, how could I feed you? وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. You're the Lord of the worlds. How could I feed you? He will respond, Allah will respond, that so and so was hungry, and if you went to them and you fed them, you would have found me. O son of Adam, I was naked and you never clothed me. How could I clothe you? وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. You're the Lord of the worlds. Allah will respond, so and so was naked, and if you went to him, you would have found me. Our deen before worship is to bring everyone together, is to stand up against oppression, is to stand up against injustice. How do you stand up? You stand up by demonstrating what is justice. You stand up by demonstrating what is moral. You stand up by living that path which is civil. That is called standing up. May Allah have mercy on Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who sacrificed everything and anything only so that you could get a spark of what was Islam, and hopefully light that up and hand over a torch to your children. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا صَلُّوا عَلَيْهِ وَسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا اللهم فصل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت قدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين اللهم ألهمنا مراشد أمورنا اللهم إنا نستهديك لمراشد أمورنا اللهم زدنا علما ينفعنا اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا سبل السلام وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن اللهم اشف مرضانا وعاف مبتلانا وارحم موتانا رب العالمين آمين رب العالمين آمين رب العالمين آمين رب العالمين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه على نعمه يزدكم ويستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون أقم الصلاة. Okay, sorry.